This is a status report on the Institute for Complexity Management, ICM. From all of us here at ICM, we hope that you had a happy holiday and wish you a wonderful new year. As we move forward into 2024, we wanted to give you all a very brief snapshot of some of our most important accomplishments and a glimpse into our work in 2024. Most of you may already know from visiting our website that we are a charitable nonprofit organization that is 100% dedicated to helping the victims of corruption. We provide investigative and advisory expertise to advocate for regular people who cannot afford it on their own. In other words, we do our work for free. And while we are not licensed attorneys, we try to find ways to help and find the people we work with appropriate legal representation. Frequently, this is a lot easier after you've completed an investigation and gotten the facts of a case together. So, that's what we do best here at ICM, investigate. I serve as one of the principal investigators here. I've worked in senior positions in the federal government where I conducted many complex investigations and detailed studies of national issues, including things like the reduction of the global nuclear and biological threat posed by the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. I've also been lucky enough to serve as a staffer for Congress, where I help to investigate, prepare for hearings, and draft legislation. The folks here at ICM have made some very significant accomplishments over the years exposing corruption. Our philosophy is that most of us are good people who want to do the right thing. That's why we work so hard here to expose corruption and then get it fixed by good people. Among our accomplishments is the exposure of corruption at the Food and Drug Administration and several of their contractors where they colluded to infringe on patents, misappropriate the valuable trade secrets of a small company to produce their own applications. The small company had a patent for what is now commonly known as predictive analytics. FDA, in league with the Department of Defense and their contractors, infringed on the patent and stole the company's trade secrets. ICM successfully forced an admission of guilt from the commissioner of the FDA himself, the Secretary of Defense, and the Grocery Manufacturers Association, along with Patel Memorial Institute, all under the Uniform Commercial Code, or UCC. Later, we worked with a small New Jersey company to expose the operations of a racketeering-influenced corrupt organization involving the Department of Defense and their contractors, who infringed on their patents and misappropriated their trade secrets. The investigation exposed the corruption of certain federal and state judges, lawyers, and even law enforcement officials in the theft. In still another case, we worked with an engineer and patent holder that invented today's on-the-move drinking containers used by the militaries and sports enthusiasts all over the world. Here we expose the activities of the Department of Defense in clandestinely directing technology they did not own to their preferred Army contractors for illicit production. The report disclosed that the Armed Services Board of Contract Appeals, or ASBCA, was corrupted. The Secretary of Defense himself was forced, under the Uniform Commercial Code, to admit guilt for misappropriating the technology. For nearly a year now, we have been engaged in a major investigation of a national scope mortgage fraud scheme involving JPMorgan Chase Bank. So far, JPMorgan Chase Bank has been forced to pay $38.995 billion for banking, securities, and additional federal fines since the year 2000. Many of these fines were paid for mortgage fraud using the fraudulent scheme first reported by ICM. You can see the results of that investigation at the ICM website. Next year, in 2024, we intend to continue our investigation of JPMorgan Chase Bank and mortgage fraud. We will also, with your generous support, issue a special research study on the 28 principles of the U.S. Constitution. One special focus of our investigative efforts will be on the growing politicization and corruption of the U.S. and various state courts. Of course, none of our work is possible without your generous support. Every penny we receive goes directly to support our work. It cannot be done without your help. Please take a minute to donate, no matter how big or how small. You'll be helping to fight for the integrity of our government. This is John Natio. Thanks for your help.